Welcome back to another episode of Being Sexy and Playing Video Games. Today we'll be beginning a new series. We'll be playing The Roottrees Are Dead. And yes, sorry if I talk a little weird and I mess up words. Still getting used to having braces. I've had to redo the intro 3 times because I can't say video games. Video games. But yeah, let's get right into it. It's this video game, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of gives me like, yeah, it's giving like simulacra. Let me check I think I've uploaded a game like this almost. Not exactly the same, just the style. Not the style either. It sort of gives telling lies. Not really. You search for clues to figure out the truth, but it's a genealogy game. Yes. It also gives killer frequency just because you are a person stuck at a computer. Kinda. Not really. But it kinda gives that vibe. But let's get right into it. I'm so freaking excited. What the hell? It's like a whole other tab just opened on my left monitor. Guys, maybe I should have opened it once before I start playing because I don't know what's happening. Oh, it's pretty loud. And put it halfway. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. The Roottrees are dead. Butler, Pennsylvania. Trusted for over 100 years. 150, Sunday, December 6, 1998. The Butler County Times. What happened? The plane crashed last night near Pittsburgh. The only passengers were Carl Roottree, his wife Brenda, and their 3 daughters, known as the Roottree sisters. Carl Roottree was the president of the Roottree Candy Company, and it's not clear who will succeed him. So far, local police are not sure what caused the crash site. They're calling it one of the most deadly plane crashes in Pennsylvania's history. All passengers and crew perished. Pittsburgh is generally known for pleasant flying conditions, and the weather was not atypical for this time of the year. We do not know much at this time, but our sources tell us that local authorities do not suspect terrorism. The crash did not cause any local property damage, and fortunately, nobody outside the plane was hurt. Funeral plans have not been announced, but you can be sure that the Butler County Times will cover it to the best of our abilities. A spokesperson for the company has asked that people respect the family's privacy. And that's that. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit more. Roottremania. Oh, we're definitely playing that. Okay, the Roottrees are loading. Gotta get their dead when they're loading. That's cute. December 6th, 1998. They just died.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottrees Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash. On board were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl Roottree and his daughters, the Roottrees sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers. There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottrees Company's lawyers are scrambling. Everything's about to change. Anyone proven to be a blood relative is about to get much richer. I'm here to ensure everyone is accounted for. I've heard you're an expert at sorting out complicated family trees. A genealogy genie, as it were. I'm going to give you a quick test. Pass, and I can promise you the job of a lifetime.
Oh my god, this is so fun. Okay, this is this. This is my evidence. The person who hired you gave you this photo with the note attached. This was taken during the shoot of the Roottrees Sisters Got Milk ad. I've tracked down a test photo from before they painted the fake mustaches on, which I thought would be more appropriate considering the circumstances. The ad's copy reads, "You might recognize our faces from the magazine you're reading, or you might recognize our name from the candy bar you're eating. Being a Roottrie is a full-time job, but so is growing up. That's why the calcium found in milk is so important, plus you can't make chocolate without it." Notepad on each page. Other than this, you can jot down important information, tips, page highlights. You know that works. You know that works. And page. Cool. Ducky. Don't know where to look. If you're going to look, try talking about. Oh, thank you, Ducky. This is the list. This list provided to you by the mysterious person who showed up at your door. You'll need it to fill in the family tree. Oh, that's all the names. Jesus Christ. Miracle, miracle, miracle. Lies, lies, David, David, David. When. Jeez. Okay. Welcome. This is so cool. There are a lot of obituaries that focus on the Roottrees sisters' modeling careers. You also come across an official Roottrees fan site, seemingly curated by a teenager. It's neon pink with purple text and hard to read until you highlight the words, doing this webmaster's right. Raina is the most famous because she's the oldest and got married to TMS, but Riley is a smart one. Rose is a middle child like me. Raina, Rose, Riley. Does it smell spelled weird, or is it actually Rose? Fuck. What? Hold on. Did I just? No. That's what I get for thinking I know it. Raina, Rose, Riley. What do you mean there's no... We're about to start having problems, guys. Maybe she went by a different name. Because Rose isn't popping up. You might think they are rich just because they are models, but their dad is also the president of the candy company, and their mom, Brenda, is a fashion designer. They do the modeling for her brand, Root. I eat Roottrees candy all the time. My favorite are Maple Crisp, and try to dress in plaid Root. Clothes like Riley does in most of the posters. Someday I want to get my ears pierced like Rose. The website's author continues to talk about her own life and what she likes about Root. Fashion lines, but none of it is relevant. Let me look up a Rose Roottrees. Rose Rootree is not as popular as her older sister Raina, but still very well known. Most of the time, they're lumped together as the Rootree sisters. Unfortunately, the results for Rose by herself don't lead to anything different than what searching for the sisters does together. Both brands and names. Let me use up again. Roots with a period. Root appears as part of the name. It is a clothing company. They make clothes for children from toddlers to teenagers. Although their website is down, likely due to increased web traffic, you find countless retail sites attempting to advertise their clothes towards the target audience. One of them has this to say: you spied the Roottrees sisters looking hella fly on catalogs, magazines, and posters. Now you two can be like Riley, Rose, and Raina. You also come across a website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently, Root Dot has released 2 catalogs per year every year since 1984, and Raina appeared on almost all of them. There's only one that the webmaster considers a collector's item enough to mention. It seems that Brenda Rootree, the Rootree sisters' mothers, and Root's head designer appeared on one cover holding her daughter, Rose, in 1985. The site says this was the only time her daughter was ever listed with her birth name, Carly Rootree. There we go. Carly Rootree. They were, I guess, all models? Wait. Let me go back to the Rootree sisters. I guess they're all models. So let's give a model for all of them. And then this one's married to somebody with T in their name. TMS? Maybe. Raina TMS. What if I just, hold on. Let me just look up the name. Thomas Sheridan. TMS is a common abbreviation of early 90s teen heartthrob Tommy Mark Sheridan. His first credited role as Thomas Sheridan was one of a soap opera called Time Marches Onward. He skyrocketed to popularity after his starring role on the sitcom Brother Trouble. Since the end of Brother Trouble, he has often been on the cover of tabloids for his supposed drug use, and more recently his relationship with Raina Rootree. After short engagement, they married in 1997 when she was only 19 and he was 23. Jesus. Okay. Highlight that. Married to Raina Root. Oh! Let me edit it. I don't want to make a bunch of notes. I just want to make one. How do I... Okay. Okay. Marches onward. Brother Rubber. I'm gonna have to look that up later. Okay. Okay, so we have one more for Tommy. Maybe... Let me look up Carly. Maybe there's more on her as Carly. You discover the trivia page that lists common trick questions. The answer to what are the first names of the famous Rootree girls lists the answer Raina, Carly, and Riley. The explanation below the answer states that Rose was originally born Carly Rose Rootree. Apparently, her parents had planned to name a son Carl Rootree Jr., but after finding out they were having a second daughter, they called her Carly. Sometime in the early 90s, a now preteen Carly strongly expressed her dislike that her sisters had RH names, and she was the odd one out. That's when she went to go by her middle name. Okay. I just want to make one for Carly. And my note is gonna be that she's the youngest. 3. And her dad is Carl. I don't know. Because she was gonna be a junior. No, but AKA Rose. Roottree. I want to have one for each one of them. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we have Carly. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna just look at them each individually. Maple crisps. I'm gonna look up maple crisps. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sure I should only. Maple crisp are Roottrees' most recent product, introduced in 1992. They are a series of circular, crunchy wafers coated in nuts and chocolate maple flavoring. The website of a fan says that they came to be during the tenure of Ernie Jr., a former president of the Roottree Candy Company. There's a commercial that aired a few years back during the Super Bowl. Book. Former president of company. Ah! 1992. I think I already. I don't even. Bitch Riley? I don't even think that's the name. I just make that shit up. Yeah, there is a Riley. Okay, we're gonna look up Riley. I'm sorry if I missed time. There are a lot of obituaries that focus on the Roottrees sisters' modeling careers. You also come across an official. Okay, we already did that. Carl. I wanna get some info. Carl Ritchie died in a recent plane crash along with his wife, Brenda Ritchie, and their daughters, the Ritchie sisters. He was the president of the Ritchie Candy Company as well as the clothing company Root, which he co-founded with his wife. According to news sites, the Ritchie Candy Company plans to put out a press release sometime within the hour to address the absence of Carl, the crash, and questions they have been receiving. Once you finish placing the Ritchie sisters on the family tree, it would be wise to repeat the search. We're gonna highlight this full thing. I'm gonna do Raina married to TMS. That's all I know about her. Carly Rose. She's the youngest. Let me skip her and do Riley. I don't know anything about Riley yet. I'm gonna look up Riley Roottree real quick. I'm already wasting time, but I promise you I'm not. Same thing. One of them had ears pierced. Rose. Okay. We have a history. We're gonna look up Carl Roottree. We're gonna go ahead and delete this one. And we're gonna go ahead and highlight this. Father of his sisters, married with Brenda. Roottrees, President of Candy Company. Plus root. Life is so founder. There we go. I think that's pretty good for what we've been on. Okay. Carly, ears pierced. You look older. Wait. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Maybe I haven't been paying attention. Raina. Rose. Rose is the middle. You see, and I feel whack. Booyah.
Sorry to test you, but I had to be sure you could use the internet. Some folks refuse to get with the times. Safe to say, you're hired. The reward for untangling the family tree is substantial. Life-changing, even. But here's the catch. The Roottrees go way, way back. The family tree's a bit daunting. Most people freak out the first time they see the whole thing. But I'm sure you'll be fine. The man who started it was particular about whom he considered family. For your purposes, you only need his direct blood relatives. Anyone related only by marriage is optional, but filling them in can lead to useful discoveries. Lastly, you now have access to some unique websites, plus a list of notable Roottrees. Notable people are easy to find via your search engine, and marked with stars on the family tree. I'm off for now. Carl Roottree had a lot in his office. I'll look for anything useful. I'll return once you identify 6 more blood relatives. Sorry, one last thing. This might sound odd, but if anyone else claiming to represent the Roottrees reaches out, I'd appreciate you not mentioning I was here. Thank you, and good luck.
This is Gwyneth? Are you giving me the answer? I don't know. Elias Rootree. Yeah. Is she count as a CEO? No. We know you're Carl. And we know you're Brenda. President. He's the most recent one. 5th? That's crazy. Okay. We're gonna start with the Roottrees sisters, part of the family. Carl press release. There we go. December 6, 1998. It is with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of Carl, Brenda, the Roottrees sisters, and the other employees that perished in the terrible tragedy. The entire Roottrees family is in shock and requesting privacy at this time. As the head of our company, Carl was an incredible man and an unmatched leader. Filling his absence will be difficult and may take considerable time. In the interim, we hope that you join us in looking back fondly on Carl and his family triumphs and accomplishments. They go on to list some of those accomplishments. One of them seems relevant to your search, like his great-grandfather before him. Carl earned his highly prestigious Watchman of the Year title. And then great-grandfather before him. Where are my notes? So we're gonna go ahead and paste that. Search it. Business Watch. New periodical. Oh, okay. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs, and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or another, and will often write about major changes in management at famous companies. Every year, they often offer an award to a prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this the Watchman of the Year. You find through a few searches that 2 Roottrees have been featured as the Watchman of the Year: Elias Roottree and Carl Roottrie. Okay. Grandfather. Wait. Father, grandfather, great-grandfather. Bruh. No help. Business Watch does not host any online archives on any site you can find via spider search, so you okay. You're gonna look up what? You're gonna look up Watch Another Year. Business Watch has awarded 1 million people through 8 years. Every 10 years they publish the full list again. You search through the most recent list and the only names recognized are Elias Roottree. I'm gonna look up. There we go. Elias Roottree was awarded Watchman of the Year in 1936 for his accomplishment of rolling out 5 pieces to a global market. Notes from the article and scan someone made of the cover have been added to your evidence. Okay. Carter was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987 for his work with Brute. The cover and the summary of the article have been added to your evidence. Save that. Close that out. Go to my evidence. Hit this list up. Easy to find online. 32 clues in here. Any entry on the family will be crossed out once they're filled out. The person who already gave you a list and said everyone on it could easily be found through the via the search engine. Whoa, who is this man? Is it Grandpa? Is it Grandpa? Elias Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936, and a painting of him appears on the cover. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year specifically to recognize the global rollout of 5 pieces. Inside the article is the timeline of 5 pieces. 1908, Elias forms the Roottree Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm. During the period before 5 pieces, the company is barely profitable. 1909, Elias has a daughter, the first of 5 children. 4 more follow, leading to Elias inventing the 5 pieces. Each of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of the 5 children, 1 flavor per child. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 1926, 5 pieces are rolled out to all New England. 1928, the new recipe and flavor is finalized and the candy begins nationwide distribution in department stores and other shops everywhere. 1935, the Roottrees Candy Company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania in preparation for the global rollout. Same year, with the help of his son Elias Roottree Jr.'s architecture firm, a new industrialized... Oh my god, I can highlight that. Son of Elias, architect... And we're gonna save that. Or we're gonna go to, we're gonna, okay, I'm done highlighting it. Let go of it. They build a warehouse. Next year, production is tripled and worldwide distribution begins. There's also a What's Next section that claims Elias is going to pivot to ensuring his company's legacy and that the Roottrees Candy Company remains a family business. He plans to do this with the clan's trust. Okay, we're gonna highlight this. And we're gonna put eldest daughter and the initials. Guys, this is just for me, so I don't need to type that much. I've been typing a lot. I shouldn't be typing that much. And I want to do Candy initials and the Rancid Rust. Or maybe I should put it in caps. In cap. So that I look it up later. Okay. Got that picture. Okay. There's an advertisement for 5 pieces aimed at kids from the magazine Teen Blast. Come on, I need to look that up. It mentions that the 5 pieces were named as such because the original creator had 5 children. The ad also mentions that the current flavors aren't the same as back then. So strawberry, cool chocolate, bad blue raspberry, awesome apple, power plum. There's 5 flavors because the original adventure had 5 kids. Maybe that's why kids still love them. Radical new flavors because it's no longer the 1920s. What even isn't it? Eldenberry anyway. Back then. I mean, I guess I could highlight that. I need to look at the picture. Strawberry SPBR. I don't know. Oh shit. Chocolate. There's C. There's strawberry. There was power plum. Blue raspberry. Plum. Then apple, plum, and apple, plum and apple. I don't know if I'm doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's all part. Names changed. Oh, actually, hold on. Cool chocolate, awesome apple, powerful. I'll just type it out. 1, 2, 3. So strawberry. And what's the other one? Bad blue raspberry. Ooh. Bad blue raspberry. Names changed. Question mark when. Okay. Handsome. Carl Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987, and a photo of him appears on the covers. According to the cover, Business Watch is a magazine for and about corporate leaders and has ongoing coverage of who's who in the corporate world. Carl was chosen not for his work at Roottrees Candy, but rather a clothing company Root. There's a brief history. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mother. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin Carl's cousin Jim Roottrees. Whoa, why is my mouse frozen? Dude? Dude? What the hell? Out that saved. What the hell? That better have saved. God damn it. So strawberry. Powerful plum. Bad blue raspberry. Awesome apple. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm missing one. It's probably something really obvious. That's so annoying. Imagine, because you had to watch me do that. Power plum. Cold chocolate. I misspelled it too. Cold chocolate. Flavor needs changed at some point. Oh my god, that's so annoying. There you go. That's fine. I don't care. We're here. Cousin is Jim Roottrees. Oh my god. A notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina, word spread. By 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands, seeing the demand. Carl and his second cousin Ernie Jr., who had just become president of Roottrees at the time. Okay, what if I... No, I'll just leave it like that. Yeah. Okay, guys, this is so embarrassing. I keep typing. Who had just become president of Roottrees at the time, spearheaded Root. Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy, so Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid his investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Raina became their catalog's cover model. As she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Carl was voted Watchman of the Year primarily for his personal gamble and the ensuing payoff. Interesting. The Roottrees sisters and their parents died in a plane crash. The quick test to figure out after 6 relatives. Okay, we're gonna hit this bad boy in. And I'm gonna go Roottrees. I already kind of have them. There we go. This is Grandpa. I'm assuming. Once I verify him. So I need 6. So technically I have 2. So I should be shooting for those notable ones because those are the easiest ones. We're gonna look up Elias Roottrees and then Gwyneth. I want to separate them. Elias Roottrees was the founder and first president of the Roottrees Candy Company. You find what is essentially a propaganda site about him created by the Roottrees Candy Company. At the top, there's a picture of him and his wife Gwyneth. That picture has been added to your evidence. There's also a biography section that has some additional information. Elias is credited for inventing 5 Pieces, a popular maple candy. Before that, the farm he inherited by marrying his wife only produced syrup. After 5 Pieces became wildly successful, Elias spent his time and energy on cementing his reputation as a family man. He is quoted on the site as saying, "Blood is thicker than syrup, and that any child linked by blood to me shall be linked by blood to my legacy." The site enthusiastically claims that he made good on that promise, but offers no additional detail. There are a few more quotes about Elias from a book called Family Man, The Roottrees Legacy by Bess Williams. Public Library. To say they are biased is a massive understatement. Below that, there's a long list of accomplishments and awards, and one stands out, like his great-grandson Carl Elias was voted. We already got that. Bess Williams. Oh. There we go. Published 1920, hardcover non-fiction anthology, an old book about Elias Roottrees. There's no downloadable version available because this book is impossible to find nowadays. What if I Google it? Family Man, it's okay, whatever. There we go. Batty and Batty. There's a famous picture of Elias and Gwyneth Roottrees. It was taken in 1909 after they founded the Roottrees Candy Company, but before it was a success. From what you found searching the internet, it seems quite difficult to find any site about Elias or Gwyneth that isn't accompanied by this picture. Elias and Gwyneth are on the notable Roottrees list. In your evidence, they will be marked on the chart with a star. So now if I look up wait, fuck. Look up. It's so lazy. You find some information on the website, the first Anderson Maple Farm. There are a few pictures, including a famous picture of Elias and Gwyneth, already in my evidence. Before marrying Elias, Gwyneth Roottrees was Gwyneth Anderson. She had no brother, so as the oldest sister, she was to inherit the Anderson Maple Farm so long as she married. Before Elias took over, the farm produced only syrup. It was supposedly Elias's idea to create candy instead. Their success was not immediate until they decided to combine the maple with other flavors, led to 5 Pieces, which are still found to be in nostalgia status. Though the Roottrees Candy Company expanded well beyond the original farm, it has been preserved as a tourist attraction. According to the website, there are still daily demonstrations and educational tours that show off many of the turn-of-the-century appliances that Gwyneth would have used as a housewife in the early 1990s. She's a housewife, and we're going to look up this. You find some information forming. Okay, so it's the same thing. Where's Mima? Damn. Housewife and baby. ICCO is pretty good. I guess we should do that picture, and for him we should do this one. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, we need 3 more. Let's go look at that list. Gwen Roottrees. You find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized, and the search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwen Roottrees is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Her biggest role was the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop of Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwen from behind the scenes of one of her movies, which you added to evidence. Did you know trivia? Gwen was the granddaughter of Elias Roottrees, the founder of the Roottrees Candy. She shouldn't had been named Roottrees, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. Actress, movie names, granddaughter of Elias, dad took mom's name. So she is a granddaughter, so this should be in this line of work. So she could be that one, that one, that one, that one. Her dad took the mother's name. It's a girl. I don't know. Okay, but we have a picture. Baddie! The photos are widely circulated photo of going to Roottrees. You have seen it on multiple websites about films. Old films. Gwen Roottrees is on the notable Roottrees list, and your evidence should be marked on the chart with a star. Okay, so I guess we gotta look up the other Roottrees with the stars. So, red Roottrees. I'll do it with the. Oops. Guys, I'm struggling a lot. Alois Herring, Red Herring, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. He served what some people contend is the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people. He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Roottrees Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that his last name was merely a coincidence, and he was defeated in a landslide. Is there anybody that's not in the family? So he's just a red herring. He's not fucking real. God damn it! Yeah. Jim Roottrees. Okay. James Roottrees is a little singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond. James Roottrees, highlight. Singer, Jim and Diamond. Wife, Diamond, La Roux. Although Jim writes the majority of this. Okay. James Roottrees is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond LaRue. The duo, according to many sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to the disco song Rolling On Down to the City. It's not in your evidence folder. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but has its fans who refer to them as Diamond Dazzlers. I'll look that up in a second. The rest of the music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song they were known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse and he hasn't made a public appearance since 1996. Diamond Dazzlers is the name of the official fan club Club of Jim and Diamond. You'll find a forum post called Cool Things You Got in the Mail on a random forum about video games. One reply mentions that Jim and Diamond still send out Christmas card every year, to the club. It's accompanied by some pictures as well as some history about the fan club. Apparently, even though it is no longer available to join, Jim and Diamond still honor it themselves personally. There's a fierce debate in the subsequent post about whether that's cool or pathetic. Amongst the pictures of Christmas cards from over the years, only one is relevant. The card from 1986 includes pictures of Jim and Diamond's young son Wolf, as well as a note about his daughter's band, the Floozies. He has a son Wolf. Son Wolf, daughter, the Floozies. I'm gonna look up the Floozies then. The Blues are an all-female punk band operating out of New York City. They're mentioned in passing in an online review from earlier this year. Apparently, they were the opening act for the band. The reviewer actually came to see. The reviewer writes that she normally doesn't review the opening act, but this one was unusual, and not because of the music, which she described as loud, fast, and repetitive, but not in a good, not in a good way. The trio was extremely cagey about their identities. The reviewer asked the venue who they were, and she was told they were rumored to be the children of other famous musicians and didn't want that to be why they became popular. The reviewer also mentioned that for an underground and unknown band with absolutely no following, their equipment was all extremely expensive, and not only were they selling CDs, but they only cost $1, they probably were losing a fortune. The reviewer said although she bought a copy, she would be unlikely to ever listen to any of it again, except maybe Beef Baby, the 7th track. There's no picture of the Floozies performing live, but the cover of the CD they were selling, Conquistador, has been added to your evidence. I'm like a Beef Baby. That's weird. It's a song by the Floozies. You can't actually find anything else about it anywhere, but with a name like that, it's hard to not speculate on the subject matter, isn't it? Could it be a euphemism or about a newborn cow, perhaps? The Floozies are holding a grudge against a toddler. It certainly piques your curiosity if only you had the time to or research to look into it further. Okay, let's see. Conquistador. The Floozies guitar vocals. Candy, Nikki, Nina. Okay. So it's Candy. Candy is gonna be the name of the daughter. But I bet they don't have a wolf. Do they? There's no way. Oh my god, they had a kid named Wolf. Okay. My bad. I'm done. I didn't mean to. Okay. Rolling On Down to City was barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 1979, according to the liner notes. It satirizes how part of society was content to remain indifferent to economic inflation and civil unrest in the Middle East unless pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem... Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of its play came from roller discos. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why you've never heard of it before now. This image is from an auction for a sealed copy. It had a sticker that says, "Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottrees could make disco this sweet." It is credited to Peter from MMMM. Music and lyrics by Jim Roottrees, vocals by Jim Roottrees and Diamond. Jim Roottrees is on the notable Roottrees list, who will be marked down with a star. The lyrics. You found a picture of a Christmas card from Jim and Diamond in the Fun Club 2 years ago. It included a picture of some wolf listening to their parents' latest music. So we have the 2 daughters and the 2 puppies. Okay, guys, how do I turn it off? I don't want to listen. As seen in MMM, only the great grandson of Elias would trigger make sweet music this sweet. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna go look up that guy and MMM. Modern Music Monthly, a magazine from the early went out of business due to caca. But now I can look that up and look up, right? Jim? I think his name was Jim. A review and an interview from 1979 titled "The Reluctant Hitmaker Jim Goes into His First Band." Until a few years ago, Diamond and I were in CJ and JT. Okay. I'm gonna pull up that fucking journal. With my cousin and his ex. Clark never knew his father, so our grandpa insisted he spend time with my dad and me. As a result, Clark and I grew up like brothers. Diamond and Jane, on the other hand, are actually sisters. Clark plus Jane, Jim / James plus Diamond. Okay. So the four of us had sort of a cutesy family band thing going on, not our finest hour. Regardless, when Diamond walked in on Clark in bed with her younger sister... What? Everything exploded, no more family band. The only thing Clark and I had in common was music, but even then we never agreed on what it should be. He was always more interested in catchy tunes, something you hum a week later. I've been told rolling is like that, but that wasn't my goal. When he called me up and said he liked it, I took it as a sign I was going in the wrong direction musically. That made him laugh, but I'm trying to make art. Well, I don't mind saying any of this because he'd agree. For most of the decade, he was a mess, but he's a lot happier now. He started rapper tunes. Ah! And he's a much better jingle writer than songwriter. One of the benefits of our famous family is massive company willing to be a client. That's also how my father was connected to Roottrees. All of his old ant campaigns were hung on the walls over the record player, but I was never interested. I just went straight to the music. I guess Clark was paying more attention. Fuck me. I'm trying to think. A website about rapper tunes. Clark Rafferty love for the advertising firm. Okay, so we're gonna save. He has a last name. Okay, we're gonna highlight him. President of James Root of. I'm gonna say James. I'm gonna say James. I know who I'm talking about. David, Jane, L.R., and then married younger sister. And I'm gonna spell it out so I know what I mean. Advertising guy. Advertising firm. On it, there's an about page and you find a picture labeled the inspiration of the famous Super Bowl ad campaign. Below that is more detail. Clark was in a department store getting a family portrait with his wife and children, and when his wife was trying to get his youngest young daughter Katrina to calm down for the picture, he had the idea for the Roottrees Super Bowl ad. Now we have a picture. Okay. Did I look him up? Okay. I didn't look him up. I looked up his company's name. Now we're gonna go in here and we're gonna search just him. Or if I just look at that. a few fan sites for the Jam blah, blah, mentioned that he used to make music. They mentioned an album called These Times. I'm gonna look up the band name in a second. A band called released a single called These Times. Someone with the username scanned the cover and noted that it cost him over $200 at auction. Apparently, this was Jim Roottrees and Diamond's first song together. He also mentions that it was performed with Jim's cousin and Diamond's sister, and that it was only somewhat similar to Jim and Diamond's later works. You can't find anything else about the band or the single, so that's all that's left to do is add to the scan to your evidence. After blazing 35-minute download, the track is also now available. Okay, yeah, I would have gone that with the band name search. JD and CJ. These Times is an old single from folk group CJJD. You have a scan of the album as well as a recording of the title track, thanks to a collector of Jim Roottrees memorabilia. The website also listens to James Diamond. The website also lists the song credits as music lyrics by Clark Rafferty and Jim Roottrees, backup logos by LaRue's. On a sticker that says folk style songwriting catchy, magazine, the lyrics of the song contain no clues. No clues. Okay. Back to that fucking list. Lauren Roottrees. Author Lauren Roottrees, a distant relative of the Roottrees sisters, is known for her book A Life Between Wars. Okay. It's like, who are the Roottrees sisters? Almost forgot. According to a website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Rafferty, to little fanfare. Oh. Whoa. Sorry, I gotta... Oh, fuck. Gotta create a new one. Wait, what the hell? Delete now. Save now. And there we go. Author, mother of Clark Rafferty. Right? 1960s, yes. She's older. Author, mother, yeah. I get to highlight this one. When her publisher learned she had been... Okay, according to the website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance models under her married name, Lauren Rafferty, to a little fanfare. When her publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Roottrees, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. A selection of diary entries released in 1965, A Life Between Wars, spans from the ultimate untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and socialites all the way through the entire entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style, and for a book, a look into life in previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under their name, Lauren Roottrees. This included Romance in Court, which gained popularity. She followed the re-release up by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans referred to as the Court Jester series. You find no recent details about Lauren, though she is listed as retired. Hey! I accidentally copied it again. Life Between Wars. Hardcover, student edition, republished 1993. Nonfiction, it seems we've hit the jackpot here. This is a book occasionally taught in schools. You even find a hardcover edition for students that has a full page. Jesus. high quality pictures in it, a summary of the contents of the book, photos, as well as some particularly relevant entries from the diary have been added to your evidence. And we're gonna look up romance in court. Out of print. Release as romance in court. Soft cover fiction romance. Blurb mentions she had the inspiration from one of her brother Clancy's lectures on the Middle Ages. Brother is Clancy. He was a... Okay. Am I misspelling it? Maybe. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the evidence. The below are notes and observations she made while skimming through Lauren Roottrees' diary pages in a life between wars. Lauren Roottrees is on the notable Roottree list. In your evidence, she will be marked on the chart with a star. The book was published in 1965 and consists of diary entries that stretch from 1940 to 1965. The most important event that much of the diary and Lauren's thoughts revolve around was the loss of her husband, Jacob. Jacob died in the final months of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. This left her to raise her son Clark alone. Lauren never remarried and only had one child. By skimming the pages of the diary, you gleaned the following information. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Her mother's family was called the Costals, but she hardly mentions them. Her father, who she always refers to as Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottrees Candy Company and helped with legal document Clan's trust. Okay. Father, lawyer. Okay. Now we're gonna look up Clan's trust. Yes, I know there's more there. Give me a second. The Clan's, pronounced Clan's Trust, is a highly unusual corporate agreement named after Clancy Edward Roottree, who was Elias's son and the Roottree Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. I'm gonna go back and edit that. Edit. I'm gonna put that in there, save it. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never fully been disclosed to the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. The Clan's Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information you discover is about a university law school, which apparently had a guest lecturer talk about the Roottrees versus RR, who's RR, 1994, which... While looking into the Clan's Trust, you often find mentions of the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time. You find out very few details about this particular incident with regards to the Clan's Trust. A student that attended the lecture about it wrote the following on a legal oddities website. From what you can tell, RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. It said that RR attempted two arguments. First, the person in question was born out of wedlock, and second, they committed a significant crime against a fellow family member. Still, due to the ironclad wording of the Clan's Trust, it was impossible to remove the direct descendant of Elias Roottree without completely dissolving the trust. There's no additional line. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the Clan's Trust, and now we're gonna look up the 5-piece guarantee. 5-piece guarantees in combination with the clan's trust was Elias Roottrees' attempt to ensure that the Roottrees Candy Company would remain a family business for eternity in isolation. It is somewhat baffling. The yearly salary of Roottrees' president is always locked to the price of a single pack of 5 pieces. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, this was 25 cents a year. Now it's closer to $4. Well, I get it. Because as a president, you're already supposed to be like a blood relative, so you get all the money either way, you know? But so does everybody else, and you do extra, and all you get is $4. That's kind of fucked. Combined with the clan's trust, however, makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president, and he knew that because their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. That makes sense. Whether or not this was smart or successful decision is widely debated both online and in person by economic enthusiasts of all levels of expertise. Okay, we're gonna glance at this real quick. She was the granddaughter. She had 1 kid, so it can't be those, can't be these. It's not this. Could? No, but she has to have a star. He had 1 kid. They had 1 kid. I don't know why I'm assuming that everyone's a guy. Okay. They had 1 kid. Could be this one or this one. But the kid had to have had kids, so it's this one. My beautiful author lady. This is bald-headed that guy. This is you. Youngest is you. Where are you? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Looks right. Alright. Let me open up my notes. Her father was Clancy Edward. Clancy Edward. And they had a junior somewhere along the line. I don't have a picture of him. Her father was a lawyer. I'm pretty sure. Let me open up my notes. Her father was a lawyer. Okay, author. Jacob Rafferty. Right. Jane LaRue, and then let me look up her LaRue. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, wait, hold on. Katrina. Oh, there we go. Okay. Child. K-12, I guess. Damn it, I shouldn't have put that in. I was trying to unlock more. These 3 entries are correct and have been unlocked. You've also locked the following optional entries. Booyah. Okay. Student, K-12. And this is kind of gonna be a speedrun a little, just because Jessica and this has gotta be Kim. Clark, Rafferty, advertising. You had a different kid? Okay, well I have 2. I just need her, and I can fill that in. Lauren. You also locked the following: Kim, Booyah. Ooh.
You're on a roll. I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes.
Oh shit, I gotta skip.
But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottrees reunion. I also found some important-looking papers. You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
Alright. I know I didn't finish looking through all this other evidence, but I was able to lock in quite a good chunk of fucking people. So he's not a CEO. He'd probably be the president first. I think I did pretty good. But his first time, oh my god. I wish I could just keep going, but I'm gonna pause right here. I feel like this is pretty good. Thank you very much for watching. I will immediately be recording the second part to this because I can't let all my knowledge go. I need to keep digging through the evidence. But it's been super mega fun. Thank you very much for watching this first episode of The Roottrees Are Dead. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye 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 bye.
For those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.